Hi guys, welcome to The Compound. Today we're talking about macronutrients and what they mean and how you use them. Let's get to it. So in the last video we discussed what foods you should be eating, but we never actually discussed in what volume you should be eating them, or especially which one's more important than the other. Now I want to dispel a myth straight away now. Nothing is more important than anything else when it comes to your diet and how you feel and healthy living. Okay, so eating protein is no more important than eating fat, than eating carbohydrates, so on and so forth. You should have a good mix of all of them. Now, for those of you who are unaware, your body uses various different micro and macronutrients to basically do whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's just being alive, lifting weights, going to the park. It needs those nutrients. So today we're going to talk about what they do and how many of each you should have, which is not an easy question to ask. First of all, let's break them down again. We've got protein, carbohydrates and fats. Now I'm going to include fibre in this as well. A lot of people don't, but I think fibre is a really important macronutrient. Micronutrients are all the little things like vitamins and minerals that appear in your diet. Now, if you don't eat a lot of fresh fruit, a lot of fresh veg, fresh foods, whole foods in general, your diet is probably lacking in micronutrients. So that's why we say that, the 85-15 rule, 85% of the food you get should be from fresh sources, fresh chicken, fresh vegetables, new potatoes, so on and so on and so forth, okay? Got lots of micronutrients in them, really important. Now, protein is used as the building blocks of muscle, and it's very, very important in the body. Everything in your body requires protein because everything in your body is constantly rebuilding itself. Think about white blood cells if you're up with science, if not, okay? So protein is really, really important. Carbohydrates are an energy source as well as fat. Okay, now people have this tendency to go, oh no, I shouldn't eat a high fat diet because fat makes you fat. This is not true, okay, to a certain extent. However, a high fat diet will be higher calories. Okay, let me just explain what I mean now. Protein has 4 calories per gram. That means for every 1 gram of protein you eat, there are 4 calories in there. Carbohydrates are 4 calories per gram, but fat is 9 calories per gram. So you can see why people often take the fat out of the diet, because it's the highest calorie macronutrient. However, fat is so important because it's used in your body for lots of different things. We won't get into the science of it, but please don't neglect your fats. They're not terrible for you as long as you're getting them from good sources. Okay, and I use the word good in inverted commas there. So how much of each should you have? I'm sure most of you have read about high protein diets, low carbohydrate, low fat, so on and so forth. And to be honest with you, the message over at Compound is whatever you eat should be sustainable. That means whatever kind of ratio you decide to use should be sustainable for a long time, which is why diets like carb cycling, where you have high, medium and low days of carbs, low fat diets, super high protein diets, we don't think they're sustainable, because at the end of the day, you've got to be able to do them for a long period of time. So what we recommend is that between 30 and 40% of your calories come from protein, but that all depends on what it is that you do. If you're a powerlifter, a weightlifter, a bodybuilder, you do a lot of sport, then protein is super important. If you are someone who just sits around the house all day and just trying to clean up your diet a little bit, then you don't need to be in the 40% range. You don't really need that much. It all depends on how quickly you're breaking down your body. Again, carbohydrates between 30 and 40%. Again, it depends on how much activity you're doing. If you're out in the gym 3 or 4 times a week, if you're out playing football, running marathons, etc., you might want to increase that ratio to maybe 50% and drop down on the protein. And then fat, maybe 20 to 30. Again, you can play with that. It depends on what kind of foods you like. But remember, 20% of fat is like 40% of carbs. It's twice as much calories, yeah, because that's 9 calories per gram. Now, we discussed in the last video of where you should get those foods from, but we'll run through them again. Protein should be lean meats and eggs, bits and pieces like that. Carbohydrates should definitely be like veggies, fruits, whole foods, oats, potatoes, rice, things like that. Bread, it's up to you, I suppose. Pasta, again, is totally up to you. And then fats, again, things like avocados, olive oil, peanut butter, nuts in general. They're all really good sources. So If you put that together, you should have 30 to 40% protein, 34% of carbohydrates, 20 to 30% of fats. You decide which ratio you want to work it in, and if you want to play with those ratios, then go for it. Knowing how many calories you need is a whole nother question. Now, we can't answer that in the scope of this video. If you would like to know how many calories you should eat, if you would like to know what we suggest for breaking down the macronutrients, then click the link below and we'll hit you up with our suggestions and our ideas. Hope this helps. Counting your macros made really easy. See you in the next one.